Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to week 6. That's right, week 6 of character modeling. We're finally over the halfway part. We should be finishing our character body this week. A lot of great stuff, a lot of good announcements, and we're really getting to a point to where we're really getting close to finishing the whole model because we finished the head, we finished the bust, and now we're on to the character body itself. And a lot of great things to talk about. And we're also going to be, this is a big week because we're also going to be playing with expressions, phonemes, and really creating that body language as well. Really starting more for targets and connecting the character bus to the body. This is a huge point. So we're going to do a lot this week, and we got a lot to cover. So let's talk about that and let's get started. Definitely a lot and big assignments. So if you are ahead, this is a really great time to get on your morpher targets. If you're behind, you need to catch up on a lot of things. So a lot of great. There's a lot of work to do this week, and this is probably the toughest assignment out of them all. Is the morpher targets, I think. So this could be a little bit intimidating, but we'll get started and we'll get through it all together. So yeah, with morpher targets and the actual carries, since we have the body built, we can really start getting into body language and showing the personality off based on body language. And it's really subtle in reality. A lot of times we as humans see things visually, auditorily, and also kinesthetically, but 65% of those people are actual visual learners. And 85% of those cues that we see a lot of times in visual communication are nonverbal. And this is how we can create those body positions and those elements to really showcase the personality of your characters. And there's a lot of nonverbal cues you can design into your character's model that play a part in this. Facial expressions, body languages, gestures, postures, positions, and so much more. And that's so much we can get into to really build out your character's personality. Now, there's hundreds of expressions. We see thousands of expressions every day as humans. And we as animators work with mediums to help exaggerate those characters' emotions. Now, surprisingly enough, we can do this with simple lines, but there's more details and more shapes and patterns and different elements that we can make really detailed expressions from our character. But in reality, we can just kind of test these out by just drawing some basic lines. Now, these are just facial expressions with the full. Now, these are just facial expressions, but with a full body, we can do so much more. Like outrage, gleefulness, sneakiness, worry, pensive, and terrified. These all kind of play a part in everything. So that really kind of settles the mood with it. But overall, there's a lot that you can do with this and really showcase different shapes and different elements to where you can create that personality based on just a few simple lines, much like you've seen here in these expressions. Now, there's 6 basic facial expressions a lot of times that artists and animators focus off of to really create more detailed animations. The first one is always anger, and anger is very focused. The eyes are very forward, very direct and pointed. Mouth is clenched, but it's still kind of open. And the eyebrows are arched inward, very direct, and the nose starts to clench in here. Unlike happiness here with the second face, happiness is a little bit different. There's less stress in the face. The mouth points upward on the top and semicircles down at the bottom. There's no structure in the nose. The eyes crease up and your eyebrows raise a little bit. They're not more angered or pointed towardward. Now, unlike happiness, surprise is a thing too. So when this person's surprised, they're not scared or anything. They're just like, oh my gosh, they're caught off guard. Mouth is open. There's no stress in the nose. There is some forehead creases up top because the eyebrows arch very high and the eyes are very direct. Much like anger, but they're more open, and that's really a key right there. Now, the other phase is disgust, and this is where the eyes are very squinty, they're focused, the eyebrows are pointed more flat. However, the nose and the arches and everything are very squinched in and probably the more stressed out of anything of the features, and then the mouth clenches right here. This is when something smells bad or disgusts you, or something just feels rotten. That's the face you're going to really get. Now, the other 2 faces are more towards sadness and fear. Sadness is pretty much the opposite of happiness. The eyebrows go straight flat but angle outward. The eyes are closed and sad. Mouth kind of goes into this open parallelogram, and not a parallelogram, more like this odd, we'll say rectangle with depressions. That works. There's definitely stress around the outside. There's and then stress up top in the forehead. This is straight sadness right here. This is when somebody is completely sad, and this is a little tough. but it's okay. Then there's also fear, much like surprise, but it has a combination of kind of like sadness and surprise, and that's what fear is. Fear has the very trapezoidal mouth opening, very unlike surprise, it'll actually have like these open creases in the mouth from the dimples. The forehead marks are there, much like in surprise and sadness, and also the flattened eyebrows, but they're still a little angled upward. But the creases are going to be right here because of the fact the eyes are open. Unlike sadness where they're closed, eyes are open right here, so these creases are still here, much like sadness, but the eyes are open and direct, much like surprise. They're very similar to surprise in that matter. So that's why I always kind of consider this like a combination of surprise and sadness a lot. You tend to see a lot of that elements with it. But yeah, those are the basic 6 facial expressions, and you can derive some good facial expressions off that. So that'd be good. Now, you can develop expression sheets, and this is kind of something to help you out build your expressions and kind of draw out what you want to do. They're similar to character turnarounds, and they help show a variety of expressions. They're much like just like your character, but drawn like 9 or 10 times with different emotions and faces. They show the range of a character's emotions, and they're meant to be messy and expressive a lot of times. Much like this Vegeta sheet over here, there's definitely 8 expressions along with like a body expression with that. So this is a good one right here to kind of use as an example. Now, overall, that's pretty much it. But later in the week, we'll talk about phonemes and how they work with your assignment and what you're going to do with them overall and what they are. So we'll have that second announcement later in the week, so that can help you out with your project. So let's talk about that. Speaking of which, let's talk about your due dates and assignments. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, so great things. Let's do that. All right, let's move on. Got a lot of stuff. Okay, cool. So everything's listed right here. You do have a discussion post this week on expressions. So for your initial post, I really would love to build an expression sheet. So that's what I would love you to do. So draw out your character that you're using for this whole course project, and you're going to do 8 expressions. I would love to see. I will see 1 point per drawing, so I at least see 8 quick expressions that you could draw of your character, and they must be clear and concise. You don't have to do any discussions or just the drawings this week. And that's pretty much it for your initial post. Now for your reply post, I would love you to give feedback on your fellow students' expressions, so that way you can give some help and help that way to their own things. Be detailed, explain your points, and please give references and examples to where those are in the drawings so that that person can either fix it or know they did something really well. So that's something to keep in mind with. Now, I also need your character body models due. This one's pretty, this is the final version of it. So I would like to see the actual assignment fully completed with feedback, everything added in, both sides. I'd like to see the whole character itself. That way it's perfect. So that would be good. So just the body, fully completed with arms, legs, hands, feet, everything. That's it. Without the connected head. That's really the thing. Now to connect the head, this is what we're going to do. This is probably the hardest assignment, I think, this week. So it's in 2 parts. So step 1, you're going to be creating phonemes. And phonemes are technically expressions that form words. So like letters. For example, like A is a facial expression that looks like A. Your mouth is open. Your eyes are straight forward. That's A. And O is where your eyes kind of open up a little bit more. O is your mouth kind of puckers in and creates that O-like shape. And that's a phoneme right there. A phoneme is a basic expression that's supposed to help form words. And that's how that goes about. So let's talk about this real quick. So step 1, this assignment's broken up into 50 points, each 2 parts. So part 1, you're going to create a phoneme set. So what I want you to do is you're going to take your character bus and you're going to copy it over like 12 times. And what I want you to do is, just like in the video demonstrations that you see this week, also review all the other phonemes. You're going to create a set of full phonemes with your character bus. And so you want to take your character bus and you're going to create, and you want to multiply that by 12. So mirror it 12 times. So, or copy the whole character bus so you can mold each one that you want. So I would like you to take these 12 character bus and do the 10 phonemes expressions for all the basic letters for animations. For example, I'd like to see one for A, I, E, O, and U. Each one of them have specific ones. A and I are different. Some people think they're not, but they really are. A is very open, but I, your mouth actually goes wider. So that's the thing. So those are 5 right there. I'd also like you to do WQ. That's one. MBP. That's another one. L and TH, F and B, and the rest of the consonants. So these 4 right here are just kind of on their own because they mirror each other. And then the rest of the consonants kind of have their own visual. So those are the 10 faces I want right there for your expressions. I'd like to see them. And please mirror them in your project file and put a label under each one so I know which one's which. So that'll be perfect. Also, the other 2, now I asked for 12, right? So that's why I kind of wanted to see a little bit more with it. So I want you to create an eye blink. I want to see your character blink. And I want you to do a custom expression, just on your own, however you want to do it, just a custom expression. That's the first part. Now, step 2 is, I would like you to attach the head to the model. So your character body needs to be attached with the head using Morpher targets. I would like to see that. So please turn in your file so that way I can see all this. So this one, not only do I want the images of everything attached, but I also want the file too. So now I'm going to start asking for the file. I want to see the project file so I can start looking at the verts, take a look at everything, see how it looks piece by piece, and go from there. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, this is a big project. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. There's a lot to it. Other than that, that's all I got, everybody. Be safe, have fun, enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. There's a lot to this week, so I know it can get a little bit intimidating, especially with the phonemes. There might be some questions with that. But that's it, all I got. Do keep in mind you have your discussion on Tuesday, and we have a lot of work to do. We have the bodies to turn in, and we also have the actual phonemes to build out and the facial expressions. So yeah, it's a tough one, but we'll get through it all together. It should be a lot of fun. But other than that, that's all I got. Be safe, have fun, have a great week, and I'll see everybody later for my second announcement for phonemes. Should be on Thursday or Friday, as usual. All right, my friends. Have fun. Enjoy.